Here we are again. Mistakes that I made. Alright, I kind of indicated the mistakes I made in the last video. Rushing to get it finished so I had some content. Why? I don't know why, because I don't get anything from it, other than the fact that I said the next video would be coming on Saturday. So, I short myself probably a day just working on the electrics and making sure everything's right. I'm attempting to fix that. However, whilst I've been going through the electrics, get that out of the way, in my head for the last few days, something really obvious skipped my mind. Anyway, I'll show you what I've been doing. Okay, so this is the bank of batteries. It's really important. This is the start batteries. They're equally as important, but so I've been having a scavenge today. I don't know how well I've done. Well, I've made that up. Now that is enough to link the two batteries. And we put new nuts in and we're going to clean up all the terminals. And the two leads running to the starter motor are already made up. I've done those. So that lot there for those two batteries is as good as it gets. I've just made this up. Right, this is another link cable for these two batteries. However, what I'm short of are battery terminals for this to this. Now looking at the size of the cable, right, all that does is work relays and stuff. There's no real draw through that. So my intention is to fix that lot up in a way that it should be fixed. Right, with all the heavy cables and heavy clamps. I've checked my earth, my ground, back to the machine from the starter motor. And I've checked all my grounds into here. Right? So I think I've got everything the way it should be. And then I remembered something I might have been missing. If we come round here, right, they're laying on the ground. Well, for those that you know, this is an earthing spike. This. And that's connected to the main earth of the cabin. How important is that? Well, I should imagine that's quite important. So we're going to hammer this into the ground. Because that probably did that no good just lying on the ground. Might have been alright, might not have been. Anyway. So that runs the earth for the cabin. Now I know it's sat on the ground. And everything should be right. Anyhow, I'm going to thump that into the ground. Then I'm going to thump myself. And then I'll probably thump the dog. Then again, probably not. So, we're going to have a go at reconnecting this lot back up in the way it should be. And with everything cleaned, and I've got my little wire brush there to do my battery terminals. And I've got my wire brush on the end of there. Like, there you go. That's going to do the terminals on the end of the cables. So we're going to clean and clean and clean and clean and thump that big spike in. Then we're going to try all this again. Because, as it's pretty much been agreed by all those that know, for the amount of time that run, that didn't pump any oil around it. And I need to get oil pumping around that so that knock goes away. Now I can only run this for 10 minutes without putting a load on it. And I want to run it for longer. I want to run it for much longer. How do I put a load on it? Well, I've got this cable running outside here, this three-phase cable. I'll wire a socket on it. I don't know how much of a load I can put on it. Half a load, maybe fire up a few machines. I've got two forest machines over there. Won't draw a lot. For sure it won't draw a lot. But I can actually put a drawer on this. What I really need is like a three-phase box, splitter box. I had some of them, but the police stole them. You know, because they're good at fucking stealing things, the police. Anyway, they stole them. I did have some nice splitter boxes. Anyway, in comes the rain again. All day yesterday, all day today. This is day 2 of the 5-day forecast. When I got up this morning, I looked at the weather. The weather's usually quite accurate here. Is there any rain coming today? No. What, has it rained today? Oh yeah. I see the old man's down in the village, right, trying to put a roof on his extension. It just... Anyway. bad. Right, let's fit this lot together. So that's well and truly in the ground. So whereas I've also connected up all the batteries, fully connected. 24 volt in line, 24 volt in line, and they've been connected like that for about 20 minutes while I've been doing other things. There are no hot cables, there is no sparking, there is no nothing. If you turn the batteries on, right, I can hear the pump opening, and what does that name keep escaping me? I don't know. Anyway, so just prior to doing another test, I thought, right, decompress the engine, turn it over the crank. It's jammed. It's jammed solid. That's not good. So then I've gone onto the back of the starter motor and I've tried to turn the starter motor and I can't. So that means my guess about the starter motor being locked into the flywheel is correct. That means the starter motor became a generator when this fired up. And it didn't kick out from the flywheel. So that next thing is start the motor off. Oh, what an arse of a job that is. I've got to get back down in that. Anyway, start the motor off. So once I'd finished all the electrics, I then decompressed the engine and decided I would turn it by hand to make sure it's free and ready for a start. Now I had several theories as to what was wrong with this. Anyway, I decompressed it, couldn't turn the engine. Jammed. Or jammed enough for that I can't turn it by hand. Even with all 3 cylinders decompressed. But that's not good, I thought. So that takes me back to my second theory, that the starter motor is jammed in the flywheel. Well, that's an easy test, because these old starter motors, the starter shaft runs all the way through. So you can get a pair of grips on the back side of it and it should just spin easily. No, it don't spin. So that tells me the starter motor is locked into the flywheel and it never came out. And when the engine started, the starter motor, which is a motor, turned into a generator, and that led to the instant overheating and the feedback through all the wires and the battery smoking and the wires getting hot. Nothing to do with my electrics, although they weren't the best. I turned the starter motor into a generator. That's not good. So then what's happened is, I'll explain when I get the starter motor out, but when a starter motor starts, it throws a cog forwards into the flywheel. And as soon as the engine starts, the flywheel gets faster than the cog on the starter motor, throws it back out. Well, it hasn't, it's stayed in there. And I wondered about that, and that all boils down to me not doing a dry start on the starter motor before I installed it, because had I done that, that would have happened. Now, you've seen me do it before on the van when we were testing the starter motor, so it's not like I don't. Anyway, so it's now 0800 Monday morning. Should have done this yesterday. As I'd finished the electrics, I went inside to get some tools, and my Sarah wanted to go fishing. So we went fishing, and then by the time we got back from fishing and dealt with all the fish, that was end of day. So yeah, here we are. Have I got the label still on my glasses? I'll tell you why, because I have to get all these glasses off the shelf, you know, different. At what point do you walk past the bloody mirror in the morning and see your dad? Well, there you go. Here I am. He had a bit of a stomach on him, but then he also had severe curvature of the spine, so he probably didn't. He was only a small man, my dad. Right. I wish I had a small man now, because I could shove him down in that hole where I've got to get that starter motor off. All in all, that took 7 hours to get that starter motor on. Anyway, let's hope it don't take 7 hours to get it off. Right, well, that took less than 10 minutes to get that out. That's the starter motor back out. I'll show you what I found there. Most importantly, decompression chambers up. All 3 cylinders decompressed. Put me pliers. Right, turns easily. That. No noise. Okay. Did I hear the starter motor retract? No, I didn't. And that's free. So when the starter motor fires, it throws that out and engages in the flywheel. Did I hear that come out the flywheel? No. Does the starter motor turn? Well, it appears to turn backwards. Right, but it don't appear to turn forwards. What else did I notice? Okay. Let me turn the light on. So if we go back into the flywheel, you can see very clearly on the leading edge of all the teeth, it's clean. Yeah, that shouldn't be like that. There doesn't appear to be too many metal filings down in there. So then when you look at the starter motor, has that been it all the way around there? Yeah, might well have been. Has that nut on the end been it? Yeah, look at all this shiny stuff. Yeah, that's not good. And I've tried to rotate it forwards. And it won't turn. So we're just going to have to put that across 24 volts and fire it with a set of jump leads and see if it even fires. And then we've got to find out what the conflict here is, because it looks to me like, well, I don't know what it looks like. Something's making contact where it shouldn't. Something's jammed where it shouldn't. I don't think there's supposed to be a spacer in there. Was this reassembled correctly? We don't know. We're going to have to get some gauges out and understand what's hitting here to in there. Is this the original starter motor? Well, again, I don't know. Now, AJ, right, my friend AJ over in Southern Ireland, he brought up a really good question. And that question was something that I hadn't thought about, and I don't know why I hadn't thought about it. Why did the starter motor needed refurbing if this is only run for 77 hours? Well, well, for start, the starter motor's in the 70s. Is it the original? Yeah, I think they uprated it to a 24 volt system when they made these boxes in Norway. Or at least it was where it was sent to Norway. So whether they were made in Norway or adapted in Norway and sent to Sweden and made in Sweden, I don't know. I don't know the real history behind all that. But of course those 77 hours would have equated to a lot of start times. But it still don't weigh up as to why this needed. And I don't know the history of that. And of course ultimately this whole starter motor business is what killed this project. Because not only was the starter motor not in it, it was out of it, but then when they sent it with the wrong bolts. So, don't know. I'm going to fire this starter motor up. Now I've got this starter motor out, I'm paying a bit more attention to what it says on it. And the serial numbers and the like, right. So we're just confirming, well, it's a 24 volt starter motor, made in England, another one. It's what makes me think it was supplied original. Anyway, I've got the serial numbers, I've got the make and the model and the maker of it, but also I've got the label on there from the people that refurbed it. So we'll see if this fires out or not. Right, well that ain't no good. That's not doing what it should be doing. That's not doing what it should be doing at all. Let's try a different setup on some other batteries, them big ones. Maybe it ain't got enough oomph in these ones. Just yeah, it don't seem to have enough oomph, does it? Right, it's smoking. It's the starter motor that's no good. Ah! It's immediately smoking from the back. Right, just in that short period of time, that starter motor's red hot. Yeah, well, so far, that's all been one big waste of time. Because I had to make all the bolts and the threads for all this, and everything revolved around that working, because you can't get to the cranking handle. And not only can you not get to the cranking handle, of course it won't start itself. So that's this project dead in the water. Can I, or do I need to take that apart? Well, right at the moment, I can't. However, I did learn an awful lot about that today. An awful lot. So that starter motor housing, that fits many things. I run the risk of repeating myself if I'm not careful. But anyway, Perkins, Bedfords, the starter motor casing. What's different about the different starter motors is its voltage, so I need a 24 volt. And there's probably plenty in old military vehicles. Can I buy them new? Yeah, possibly. Or certainly refurbished with new inners. So it seems there was a known fault on that machine. So I done some research on the starter motors this morning, found out many stuff. That's not the first time that starter motor's had a problem. And so the problem could well be, right, with something else in the box that caused the starter motor to go in the first place. So the guy that had that, he's told a friend of mine, and it's kind of difficult because the guy that had that don't speak much English, and my Swedish, my svenska's not so good. So we do have a friend that put us in touch with one another that speaks perfect English, and is a friend of the man that had it. Anyway, so that has a problem, the box itself, and I'm pointing that way because it's out there, right? The box itself has a problem. And I'm going to go into all that in more detail when we do the starter motor. But I've had to dump all that, I've got to get on. So these radiators I took out, these are all from the kitchen area. I took these out at the beginning of the year. I'll say the beginning of the year, March, April, May I took them out. And it was still so cold that it was making a huge cold spot in the building, and my Sarah complained that I'd take the radiators out when it was cold in that room. Anyway, they've still been on the floor because I've been doing all this other stuff, and then I got slide tracked by that, and I shouldn't have done, but I needed to. Right, we'll get into that, about power supply and power companies and governments and radiators. More important than all of that, if I don't get these radiators painted and back upstairs, ready to go on the wall, and I can't put them on the wall because I've got to put wood behind it like I did in the other big room. So I'm doing wood below the windows and then paint above the windows. I've got to get these. So renovating, it's like everything I've done here, right, I haven't painted any facades, it's off. These have all been wired, cleaned, ready for a total repaint. You can see, you know, this is people's idea of doing it, and you've got to shut the system down. You've got to drain out who knows how many gallons of fluid, right? Cap the system off, take the radiators out. They're all wired, brushed and cleaned up, ready round. They're going to get sprayed all over, one complete colour, ready to go back on the wall. So that's what we're doing. So this morning we were back in the box. Took the starter motor off, realised there's a problem, tested the starter motor, it's smoking. Spent 2 hours researching starter motors. Had a long conversation with my friend, and he told me what the guy that dealt with this box knows, and there might be somebody locally that knows exactly what's wrong with it, and we'll find that out. And then, what did I do after that? Oh, the lawnmower. We don't want to talk about the lawnmower, not today. I can't do that. Radiators. So now we're going to spray the radiators up. How are we doing on time? Yeah, it's 14:30 and I started at 0600 hours this morning. So we've really been going for it, but you know, running out of time. How did I get them up there? Well, I use this and not this. Not my back, my brains. Did I lift those? No, I didn't. Have I got any help? No, I haven't. Anyway, those straps that are hanging them up, they're the same straps that we used to strap on the box onto the trailer because they were lying around. Let me go and mix up some paint and we'll come back and paint these. That's the first coat. Fortunately, it's quite warm today and the wind's blowing, so I've opened that door. That'll let the wind flow more. These will be dry for ready for another coat in, I don't know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. 3 coats. Job's a good one. So you need to leave it an hour between coats. This is my 3rd and final coat. In between, while I've been waiting, I've been stacking wood. That's 3 coats, hour in between each coat. 3 coats, job's a good one. Now they probably look white to the camera, they're not white. They might look white, but they're not. They're almost white, but not quite white. White at the back. There we go. Huh. Oh, that's another job knocked off the list.